Jay-Z has released a denial letter addressing the heinous claims against him and Diddy. What up, words? Your boy Charles Brown back again talking facts. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. Keep sending those cash apps to CLBMG. Gang, listen, I know quite a few of you are brand new subscribers to my channel. I've received thousands of new subscribers over the last couple months that may not know what I'm about, right? You may think you know, but you probably don't know as well as someone who probably been around for a while, right? First things first, I am a advocate for women. I'm just going to be honest. As far as black women goes, I was raised by a single mom. You're never going to hear me disrespecting or trying to belittle women, especially black women. I'm not going to do it. It's not going to happen. I'm going to be the first and foremost person to fight for that. And especially when a woman cries foul and says that something happened, I'm going to try to get to the bottom of it. So the first things first, I am going to be fair when I have these conversations. Second thing, I was a victim myself as a child, right? And I know what it's like to not be believed, and I know what it's like to have that stigma on you and to feel a certain way about someone doing something against your will. So I'm just going to start there. I have no shame in it. I have no problem with it. I have lived through it, and it is what it is. But I'm a grown man now, and I look at everything through a lens of all of that. Being a victim and not being a victim at the same time, I can see through both of them. I also want you to know that I do not celebrity worship. I'm just going to be honest. I do not get on here and try to advocate for someone just because they're a celebrity. I try to look at a person inside and out before I do anything in their defense or to come against them. Right? I'm just being honest. I don't go against one person or another just because I think they're cool. It has to be something there that I can see, I can touch, I can smell, I can say, okay, there is something there. There's some smoke, there is fire, right? Now, what's going on? When I say all that to say this, there has been a sexual assault allegation against Jay-Z and Diddy. It was leveled in October via Tony Buzzbee. We've been talking about this Diddy stuff for a while. This Diddy stuff has been getting crazy. There has allegedly been 120 people who have come out to Tony Buzzbee, who he's picked through, I believe it was 12,000 alleged victims. He's narrowed it down to 120. And the most, I guess, solid cases he's decided to pursue, right? Now, I am one of these people who 100% know that something's wrong with Diddy. I know this. I don't need massive evidence. There's been talk of Diddy since Tupac was alive, that Diddy was an awful person. There has been talk. There has been a lot of, I'm going to go in and say there's been a lot of proof. People have been saying a lot of things. There's been a lot of smoke, there's fire situations with Diddy since as long as I can remember before the 2000s. We have known Diddy has been a creep, a deviant, and someone to watch out for. I'm just going to be honest. So it doesn't take much theatrical display or court filings or anything for most of us to believe when something is said about Diddy, it's probably a true situation. Just like R. Kelly. R. Kelly didn't go to jail because of something out of nowhere. R. Kelly has been facing these. That was R. Kelly's second trial. The trial that he finally got convicted for. R. Kelly has been a deviant since the 90s, and we've known it. We have not been able to pin him down. So now, with guys like R. Kelly and Diddy and Cosby and these different things, where all of these guys still have their defenders who say, that I don't believe it, it's not true, right? But with these guys, it's become the norm to say, okay, there are a lot of weirdos and abnormal people who are out to hurt children and who are out to do things, heinous crimes to people. And we need to get them. We need to watch out for them. Cat Williams told us, 2024, a lot of truths will come to light. What Cat Williams didn't tell you that some of the truths are going to be for the other side, right? A lot of truth's going to come to light. So what I want to say, I want to get into this story because I do not want to offend anyone, but I want to tell you my feelings about this situation. All right, so let me tell you what's going on, and then we're going to have a deep dive into this situation. I told you who I am. I told you what I'm coming from. This ain't a person that has no compassion for what is being said, but we got to start. Some of this stuff got to reel in, right? We got to reel some of this stuff in. So let's have this conversation. The lawsuit was filed in October with Combs as a defendant, according to an NBC News report, and refiled on Sunday to include Sean Carter, Jay-Z. Jay-Z has made a statement, and I'm going to get to his statement about being accused. Immediately dropped this statement because he knew it was coming. Like I tell you all the time, these lawsuits, these people know well before you do that the lawsuit's coming. They have a statement prepared. It's just like when Kendrick waited for Drake to drop that song, then he dropped his song right after it in about 30 minutes. Jay-Z was waiting for this thing to drop so he could drop this letter, right? And I want to talk about this letter, but let me talk about the accusations first. The accuser remains anonymous and is identified as Jane Doe in the lawsuit and claims that when she was 13 years old, she was raped in 2000 by Combs and Carter at a house party after an MTV Video Music Awards in New York City. In the suit obtained by NBC, the accuser claims that after one drink at the party, she's 13. Why is she at this party and why is she drinking? Who was there with her? How did she get in here? Why did they give her a drink? These are all valid questions that I need answers to. But let me continue. She felt woozy, lightheaded, and felt like she needed to lie down. Right before Combs and Carter allegedly entered the room, the suit claims Carter held her down and raped her while Combs and an unnamed female celebrity watched, and also alleges Combs raped her as Carter and the woman looked on. The lawsuit is filed under the New York Victims of Gender-Motivated Violence Protection Act, and the accuser is reportedly seeking unspecified damages. Mere minutes after the news of the lawsuit hit the internet, Jay-Z fired back with a statement of his own shared via Roc Nation's social media accounts. In the post, Jay-Z denies the allegations in the lawsuit while tearing into the accuser's attorney, Tony Buzzbee, accusing him of blackmail. So right here, let me just start here. At the risk of making some of you really want this to be true. You immediately went to Twitter. They're gleefully, they're celebrating, they're dancing. I told you, Jay-Z, I told you he's right there with Diddy, he's going down. Some of you want this to be true so bad, you didn't put zero thought into any of this. It's just true. You knew it was coming, it's true, right? And that's all it takes. That's all it takes these days. You got to remember how many rappers have been accused of the same exact thing, and then the girl recant, or something happens where it's proven to be not true, and then all of a sudden, the girl disappears. I want to have a real conversation about this, but let me read Jay-Z's response. Because I told you in a couple videos back, when we were talking about Diddy, I said, I don't see a case. I don't see a scenario. You don't just pop up on a man all of a sudden after all these years, since 2000, it's 2024. You're telling me this guy's a deviant who drugs kids, but there's never been one accusation, not even one. There's never been one. This is the first one since we have this Tony Buzzbee. Now, Diddy, they've been on the internet for years. There's been accusations about Diddy being a sexual deviant to old, young, all ages, men, women, everyone. There has never been an issue that we didn't know. Wendy Williams tried to tell you years ago. She got fired for it, right? Well, she got suspended, right? And had to move to a different station, yada, yada, whatever, right? Where there's smoke, there's fire. This situation, gang, we have to understand there is a thin line with this stuff. At some point, somebody's trying to get a bag. And you want to say, Charles, you're only saying that because it's Jay-Z. You didn't say it was Diddy. Well, let's be honest. And I'm not in any kind of way a Diddy defender. Let's just be honest. And I know some of y'all going to be like, Charles, I'm unsubscribing. You know what? I'm just going to tell you just how I feel. Unsubscribe. I'm just going to be honest. I don't get on here to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you how I feel. I'm just being honest. So I don't think every single solitary accusation, newsflash, is true. I don't know what to tell you. I don't think every accusation is true, right? I said it in the video before, the one where Diddy was accused of what's the brand? It's the other brand of, what was it? It wasn't Fubu. It was Echo. The guy from Echo claims that out of nowhere, Diddy came into the stock room, right? Just out of nowhere, just hit him, had his bodyguards grab him, hit him with the butt of a gun, and made him give him fellatio until he finished, and then just left him there and went out and started throwing shirts to the crowd like nothing happened. I said, listen, gang, and this was before this Jay-Z's, I said, listen, this sound a little far-fetched. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. It's one thing to be a sexual deviant in your home doing freak-offs with baby oil. It's another thing to walk into a Macy's, see a guy stocking shelves, and make him give you fellatio, and then finish on him, and then get up like it's nothing, and then leave. It's a different thing, gang. I'm just being honest. I don't know what you want me to be, a robot that don't analyze anything. That sounds a little bit far-fetched. And I know it's a Diddy train. Choo, 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 right? It's supposed to be everything is da da da. And yes, he's heinous. He's an asshole. He's a jerk. He did a lot of foul stuff. But that don't mean we don't use critical thinking. We still got to use critical thinking. And I get it. Some people going to be upset with me. I apologize to you in advance. But we got to use critical thinking. Just being honest. And I know that 13-year-olds get into parties, and I know that they come there and they drink, and I know they've been drugged, and I know this stuff happens. I know it. I promise you. Right? I know it. But some of this stuff has to kind of make sense. So allegedly, she's saying in her lawsuit, the girl was 13, she's like 37 now, something like that, right? She claims that they drugged her, and somehow, some way, she, and I'm just going by what I heard, she somehow kicked Diddy and got away, and somehow it just gets a little convoluted, and then they end up dropping her off at Rockefeller Center or something like that, and then she calls her dad, right? Now, again, I told you, I was a victim. So I'm not ever going to discredit somebody's story. But to me, I don't care what, it's the year 2000. I don't care what kind of rapper you are. I want you in the comments to tell me if a 13-year-old girl was drugged, raped, and kicked out of a car at Rockefeller Center in New York, where she called her dad and said, "Dad, this just happened to me." In what world is that not reported? I need to understand it. I don't, like I said, I'm not trying to sound like I need to understand it. How a 13-year-old girl, that happens and it never goes anywhere for 24 years. And you're going to say she didn't want to report it. If I called my dad, we reporting that. I know you guys want me to get on here and say Jay-Z's sick. Diddy's sick. I get it. I understand. But I'm not going to say that till it makes sense to say that. Right? I'm not. I'm just sorry. I'm not going to do that. It needs to make sense to me. There is no scenario. As a father of more than one daughter, as a father of more than one son, if any of them children came to me, said, Dad, I know I was wrong. I went to a party, I was drinking, but Jay-Z drugged me. Diddy and Jay-Z drugged me, two of the biggest rappers in the world. They drugged me, they pinned me down, they did all kind of stuff, and XYZ was watching, right? Tierra Marie, whoever it was watching. And I'm like, I wonder what we should do about it. Make this make sense. I need it to make sense. So before you get in my comments talking crazy, make it make sense first. And I know it sounds good. I know it. You want it to be true so you can say, this guy's evil. I told you he's demonic. Get the right story, though. I need the right story. Give me the right story so we can both say he's evil, he's demonic. It makes sense. Because to me, there is absolutely no scenario. This girl sounds very, like she remembers this very vividly. If I'm 37 and I remember this when I was 13, or I remembered it when I was 13, I could tell the cops the exact same story. In what world was the cops not called? In what world does this not get reported? In what world is they not on trial for this? Please let me know. Please? Please let me know how she called her dad and the dad never pressed charges. First of all, it was worth money back then. This is a civil suit. You're suing for money now. You're not even suing for criminal. It's not even a criminal suit. Can you imagine the bag she would have got back then? At the time, to try to keep this under wraps? Now, I get it. I'm supposed to be like, yo, I told you, he's an Illuminati. I get all that stuff. But I'm going to say when you come with the right story. When you come with the right story and it add up, and you're going to say, Charles, you're saying she should have reported. Yes. Yes. You're 22. You get something, someone's assaulted you. Okay, you have the right to be silent for 10 years. You have the right. You got the right. Right? You're 25, you're 60, whatever. You could not say nothing to somebody. This girl claims she was 13 and she told her dad. At that point, it ain't even her decision no more. Right? It ain't even her decision. And what was y'all saying about the parents in the R. Kelly case? They should lock the parents up. Wasn't y'all saying that? Let me read this statement from Jay-Z, and we're gonna just get out of here because it's late. Not gonna be on this all night because it's gonna be so much more to develop. To try to go too crazy with it would make no sense. Jay-Z's statement says, my lawyer received a blackmail attempt called a demand letter from a, quote, lawyer named Tony Buzzbee. And you could tell Jay-Z wrote this himself. There was no PR in this. This is quite different from Diddy's. This is quite different from Diddy's mom. This is a very different feel. This feel like a dude wrote this because he wanted you to feel this, right? How Kendrick say, I don't want no, I want you to feel this, right? We're not going to be doing no metaphors. You're going to feel this. So he said what he had calculated was the nature of these allegations and the public scrutiny would make me want to settle. No, sir. It had the opposite effect. It made me want to expose you for the fraud you are in a very public fashion. So no, I will not give you one red penny. These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree? These alleged victims would deserve real justice if there were a case. This lawyer, who I have done a bit of research on, seems to have a pattern of these type of theatrics. See, that's where they're going to go wrong. If this guy has a pattern of going up and charging and trying to run in and get these settlements, that's going to be a problem. Y'all going to mess around and let Diddy, who it looks like the real culprit of this, it's going to get really murky, and it's going to make this lawyer seem like, he might be kind of skeevy. I don't know if we should be giving him $1. It's going to mess the case up. But let me continue. I have no idea how you've come to such a deplorable human being. But I promise you, I have seen your kind many times over. I'm more than prepared to deal with your type. You claim to be a Marine. Marines are known for their valor. You have neither honor, nor dignity. My only heartbreak is for my family. My wife and I will have to sit down with our children, one of whom is at the age where her friends will surely see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people. They're saying that they're going to have to explain that to Blue, who definitely already is hearing about this, and them kids is going to be vicious. They're going to be brutal. They already on Twitter acting crazy, so I guarantee you, without a shadow of a doubt, they in her ear, tearing her up right now. Let me keep finishing. I mourn yet another loss of innocence. Children should not have to endure such at such a young age. If it is unfair to have to try to understand inexplicable degrees of malice meant to destroy families and the human spirit. My heart and support goes out to the true victims of the world who have to watch how their life story is dressed in costume for profitability by this ambulance chaser in a cheap suit. They call their boy suit cheap. You have made a terrible error in judgment thinking all celebrities are the same. I'm not from your world. I am a young man who made it out of the project in Brooklyn. We don't play these type of games. I see people on Twitter clowning him for saying young man, but he's talking about I was a young man. And I guess if we live in the 80, 90, 55 ain't really, you still got 30 years, gang. I'm just going to be honest. So he let him cook for himself. You know what I'm saying? That's what he want to call himself. It is what it is, right? We don't play those type of games. We have very strict codes of honor. We protect children. You seem to exploit people for personal gain. Only your network of conspiracy theorists, fake psychics, will believe the idiotic claims that you have levied against me, and that, if not for the seriousness surrounding harm to kids, would be laughable. I look forward to showing you just how different I am. So Hov is saying, let's take it to court, sucker. I told you before, I don't see it in Hov. I don't see it. You can tell me whatever you want. I can tell you. You can look at a man 9 times out of 10 from the day one and see that something ain't right. I always felt like something ain't right with Diddy. It never felt right. I couldn't put my finger on it, just didn't like him. And you know what Diddy famous was? People can hate you and don't even know you, and they don't even like you. Yeah, because we could feel something wrong with you. That was his number one. They don't even know you, right? Remember that song? He said it at the end of one of them songs. He was like, they don't even know you and they don't like you. We just didn't like you. We knew something's wrong. People love Jay. But the thing is right now, the internet is different now. And yes, they don't need to know you. They could just hate you from afar because of who you claim to be and how rich you are. They can just hate you for that. The internet right now, anybody we propped up, they're trying to rip them down. Anybody from the 90s, they're trying to, the 80s, 90s, whoever, they're trying their best to rip them down. You can't be a celebrity no more because somebody's gunning to rip you down. Now, let me put it like this. If Jay did any of this, it'll come out. It'll come out. But we've seen time and time again where it's been much more difficult to actually bring these guys down, whether they bad or good, whether they did it or not, because a lot of times this stuff be inconclusive and these people's stories be bouncing all over the places, whatever, right? Like I said, I'm not here to diminish this woman's or whoever it is, woman, man, whatever, because I think it said Jane or John Doe or whatever. End of the day, I'm not here to diminish their story. Tell your story. But for one, you're 37 now. There's no need to hide behind this. You need to come out and say your name. But let's say she don't say her name. It's fine. It's okay. You need to get on that stand and tell what's going on. Because you want the money, you want the bag, but you want to sit and be anonymous. Right? And I get it. That's what they're going to say. Yo, you're going to have to come out. And I get it. It's kind of a bully tactic. We need to know who you are. Yada, yada, yada. But also, we low-key kind of need to know who you are. Right? You're going to be walking away with $30, $40 million from Jay-Z for this crime. To me, I personally feel like there ain't no amount of money that wants me to have that money that you don't go to jail. I'd rather you go to jail first, then give me my money. To me, and I'm going to say this and I'm going to get out of here, I'm just going to be honest. It looks sketchy to me when a person sues first for the money. I ain't saying this because it's just Jay. I'm saying this for anybody. If you did something to me at 13, yeah, I want retribution, and the money ain't the retribution. The money is the comfort after. That's the comfort. But you walking around doing whatever you want to do, being free, that ain't justice to me. Like the Michael Jackson kids, when the parents just really wanted the money, right? Remember that? They just really wanted the settlement. And I think Michael settled with the first kid, right? What parent is going to settle with a predator? It never made sense. It never set right with me. That's why to this day, I don't believe Mike did nothing to them kids. But that's me. Because if I'm a parent, we going to fight till one of us is out of here. I'm not taking a penny till your ass in jail. Didn't give me my money. We want our money too. But you going to jail. If you took my kid to Neverland Ranch, and did whatever with him, had him sleep in the same bed with you, and you did whatever, you fondled him, whatever, first of all, I'm wrong for letting him be there. Let's just be honest. But in the second place, I want you to suffer. And I don't know a parent that don't want you to suffer. Tony Buzzbee is making himself look sketchy now. I'm just being honest, because I believe he has his own case that he got accused, right? Look it up. Tony Buzzbee just got accused in his own assault case. So now, it ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. He's calling it ludicrous and this and that. But guess what? It shows you that anybody can level a charge at anybody. Let's take it to court. So on that note, I'm going to leave this right where it's at. We're going to see where it goes. But I told you, and I stand on it, I don't believe I don't believe Jay's going down for any of this. A year later, 2 years later, 5 years later, 10 years later, my video is going to be still right here because I don't think Jay did anything to anybody's kid. I'm just being honest. You can say whatever you want at that point, but I don't think I am a good judge of character. And a lot of these people, their character is in their eyes. And a lot of these people that you thought was trash probably were. Right? And I'm going to leave it at that. Now, you can go in the comments and say whatever you want. You can have it out. You can call me whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'll respond. I might not. It is what it is. But I do want to say this. I don't think a man's going to write a letter this stern talking about let's get some criminals cracking in here. Let's get some criminal charges cracking if you feel that way, if they had something to hide. This is not like Diddy's fake, enough is enough. This ain't like that. This is, oh yeah, I'm coming for you. It's different. It's different. And we're going to see what happens. Let me know what you think in the comments. CLBMG. If you believe that this is a true and living statement, please in the comments explain to me about this particular thing, what makes you believe it. All right? And that's all I want to say about that. And if you feel like you can't rock with me no more, that's okay too. I'm going to catch you on the flip side. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine.
Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.